This is Marketing Jam, a podcast featuring the brightest minds in Canadian marketing.
So why don't we start off, tell us your name, the role you play, and the company that you're with.
Okay, so hi, my name is Victoria. I am what I dub myself as a content creator, digital content creator. My company would be myself, which is my blog. Yeah. So I run a lifestyle blog out of Toronto. It's called the Listt, and I cover topics under the umbrella of like fashion, lifestyle, travel, food, and some beauty here and there. And then along the side of that, I also do a lot of content production for brands as well too, for their own platforms. Nice. And I do quite a bit of like digital media consulting as well.
Awesome. So tell me, as a content creator, are you Android or iOS?
Oh, that's hard. Honestly, like I use two different phones on the go. Yeah. To be very transparent, Instagram performs the best on an iPhone. I've used a variety of Androids before, and there's always some sort of like small glitch to it, regardless of like how good the tech is. So like just because it's my livelihood and every day, I have to have an iPhone in order to be able to post effectively. But I do love the Androids for their camera capabilities. Like I use a Huawei pretty often for the Leica camera on the back. And I love it. Cool. So I'm a dual phone user, not because it's personal business, but mainly just because it's all business.
I'd love to hear, what are some apps that you are loving right now, and what are some apps that you can't live without?
So wait, so both of them I love?
Ones that you love and ones that you just can't live without.
Obviously Instagram. That's like my everyday. I'm pretty sure I spend at least 50% of my time on Instagram as well too.
Have you ever tracked it? You ever used the Moment app to track?
No, I'm too scared.
I'm
really too scared. It's like when I track my sleep patterns on my iPhone, and it tells me you're only sleeping like 3 hours a night. I'm like, I don't want to know that. I like subconsciously know, but I don't want somebody to tell me that.
You want to live in sobering reality. You'd rather live in
exactly. No, I'm happier that way. Instagram, absolutely love. Facebook pages as well too. It really helps me manage my my business page on Facebook, and I can really check my analytics on that. What else? I'm always on Gmail, so I can't live without it. And then Google Maps, because I can't for the life of me tell directions. Ask my fiance. I'm always telling him to turn left, and even the maps tell me that I'm turning right. So like somebody needs to be talking for me. So. And
are you a local guide and contributing on Google Maps?
Sometimes when they ask me to rate it 5 stars, how good is a location? Like if I like it, I'll rate it 5 stars. But I actually like contributing to, what's that other app?
Waze?
Yes, Waze. I love Waze. Waze is amazing.
Because it's fun. It's comical, right? You collect candy as you're driving.
And I get to see people as they come by. What is it when you like beep them or honk them or something? It's just interactive. It's fun.
Somewhat inappropriate, but you can still do. It's kind of like the new poking.
Exactly.
It's awesome. And other apps that you're loving these days?
Oh, this is hard because like honestly, because I spend so much time on Instagram already as is, like I don't spend a lot of time on my phone if I don't have to.
Are you on Snapchat?
Sometimes here and there, I found that like I just gravitate more to Instagram because I've already posted onto there. I've created such a massive audience, and the audience on Instagram versus Snapchat is completely different. I found that my Snapchat audience is much younger, and it's difficult for me to kind of relate my everyday life to them just because I'm doing different things that they necessarily won't be doing at their age. So Instagram has just been like performing phenomenally for me. That's kind of what Snapchat
and great data that you get for your sponsors.
Exactly,
And what about using Canva or iMovie or YouTube Capture?
Okay, so I haven't used any of those just yet. I've actually just discovered Canva like literally 2 days ago. Some of my friends were using it. I'm like, what is this app? And she like told me what it was. But in terms of like editing content on my phone, I really love to use this app called InShot. It's great for videos, photos. You can create like different images overlaid on top of each other. You can have videos with an image in like one photo together at the same time. It's phenomenal. It supports really well for Instagram stories, which is what I loved. And I discovered that from my friend. You can like doodle, add stickers and everything. It's great. So that's kind of like my go-to phone editing app. But otherwise, I don't really edit a lot on my phone. Everything else is on my computer.
So tell me, we are at DX3. Of course, you were invited. You are a famed guest here.
Oh, thanks.
We're looking at 2018. What are some of the trends that you're seeing from your perspective, and maybe some of the things that you're hearing here at DX3?
So some big trends, obviously influencer marketing is going to continue to grow.
Would you call yourself an influencer?
I don't like the term influencer. I much prefer the term creator because like the influence comes along with just like what I do naturally. I don't like to tout that I have an influence.
Yeah.
It'd be like if I was a celebrity and introduce myself and say, hey, I'm a celebrity, nice to meet you.
Yeah. You say you're an actor, or you produce acting for films.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just what your trade is.
Yeah.
So influence just comes as like a wayside with it. I much prefer the term creator. But yeah, the industry itself dubs it influencer marketing, so colloquially, that's what we have to follow along with. I see that growing a lot more this year. I've seen a lot of brands mature along with that as well too, and a lot of them are realizing the benefits that they have out of a long-term relationship or an ambassadorship.
Yeah.
So many brands I've seen start to gravitate more towards like a really strong relationship with top like 5 or 10 core individuals throughout the whole year, and then have a lot of individual campaigns peppered out through the rest of the year as one-offs with like smaller influencers.
So like a deeper relationship that's more committed.
More meaningful.
Yeah.
Tells a more deeper layered story.
Partnership versus one-off transactions. Okay. And are you in any of those deep, meaningful, committed relationships?
It sounds like I'm dating a brand, right? Yeah, so I have quite a few year-long relationships that I've developed with brands.
Nice.
A lot of them are just organic relationships I've developed over the past like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Worked with them completely unsponsored.
Yeah.
They've sent me stuff out of consideration. If I love it, I get to post it.
Yeah.
And then from there, we've just kind of chatted like, hey, this is really working out super well.
Yeah.
You still use our product, you buy our product on the regular. Let's like work together and share this message on like a deeper level with your followers. I'm like, that's amazing. And like, that's what I love. I'm trying to stray away from like the one-offs just because I feel that my audience can kind of see through that sometimes. They're like, we know you got paid for that. You barely ever talk about this brand. But like any other brand that I talk about organically all the time, they're like, tell me more. I want to know more about this. So it's how can I leverage those relationships with the brands to help convey a message.
Yeah, okay. And so what does that look like? Like I know like it's not like you're like holding a package in every video shoot you do or everything where you're like holding the brand up and like talking about how great the brand is and kind of shoving it in front of all your viewers, right? Like it's not like you do that in any way, right? Because that could be weird and awkward where you're always putting the brand in front of people.
Way too awkward.
And yeah.
I don't know if I can take this seriously.
So what does it look like for you? How do you usually integrate brands into your campaigns?
I love to integrate brands as organically as I can. Honestly, even with a lot of my paid content, I try to stress with the brand, like, if you can make this as non-exclusive, obviously I'm not going to tag a competing brand.
Yeah.
If I'm going to promote you. But in everyday snapshot, like just take a look at the room across from us right now. Like how many different brands can you probably label as you're looking across?
Yeah.
You're never going to walk into one setting and only see one brand ever. Like that's just not organic, right? So a lot of these brands really understand that, and they're allowing me to really open up my creative liberties and tag, like if I'm wearing a jacket, like this is from Rudsack. I'm wearing this, so also let me tag, I don't know, like a hair product that I've used today, or my sunglasses, or like my nails, because that's not a competing brand to them. But to my audience, it's organic and it's more just a next level layer of brand awareness. So the brand is more evident to my followers as they see it continuously pop up, but it's not shoved in their face.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And super evident.
Okay. When you look out at people who are doing a great job of that, like brands that have really done the integrated campaigns with content creators or influencers, who are some brands that we could be watching and looking out for?
Some brands that have done a really good job at that, that's hard because there's so many brands that I see on a regular, everyday basis. I'd say a lot of clothing brands do a really good job at it just because they understand that nobody's ever really specifically wearing one brand on their whole body, top to head to toe, that's the phrase, every single day. And they understand that, so they really allow a lot of integration with it. I work very closely with Dynamite, a local Canadian brand out of Montreal.
Nice.
And they really work strongly with influencers. They just send packages whenever, and they allow you to like decide if you want to promote their products or not. If you don't, that's fine. It's cool. They're not gonna say like, hey, I'm never sending you a product ever again, but like we'll send you something next month and see like maybe you like it, maybe you don't. And if you do like it, it's amazing. They don't expect product or content back from you. And then that's like one of the brands I'm working super closely with this year just because I love their stuff. I've grown up with it since high school. It's great for casual. It's great for like workwear formal. So Dynamite's a phenomenal example of like one of the brands I really love to work with. Another one as well too, it's an international one. It's a watch company, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called Clues.
Okay. Not Blues Clues.
No, not Blues Clues, like Clues, like C-L-U-S-E.
Okay, cool.
It's just like a watch brand that's extremely easy to work with, They send me watches. I take photos of it. People wear watches on the regular all the time, telling time, or like, are you really telling time? It's just an accessory now with your phone. But they're extremely flexible, and it's so organic how they allow me to work with them, and they're never really hyper stringent in how I produce my photos. They're like, that's beautiful. It's just an integration into the product, into the photo. So we love it, and I love that. The flexibility of working with them is what really, really helps.
That's awesome.
And I like brands that allow me to like really flex my creative liberties.
Yeah. And speaking of which, how have you figured out a way to flex your creative liberties, but also figure out a way to monetize this or come into maybe a contractual relationship with some of these companies?
Yeah, so I kind of learned over the X amount of years that I've done this on Instagram, and just on a blog as well too, is that the audience in Instagram really likes a candid, organic snapshot of your everyday moment. They don't like that. They love a beautiful editorial, but they're not going there for that's beautiful, I can't be like her one day, that looks crazy. They want that's relatable, I want to buy those too. How can I like look as cool as you? Do I have to get those products in the photo? So for me, it's all about telling a story in a picture. Am I going out and getting pizza with my friends? Am I having like a movie and popcorn night with my girls, and we're just like sitting there eating Orville Redenbacher on the floor on a big screen? So for me, it's really important that the brands understand that I can't just have a close-up of one specific product and just like zoom in on it, because it's not a magazine spread. Otherwise, people will go and buy magazines, and everyone's on digital now. They want to see like, how can I be like you? What lifestyle are you living? So when the brands understand that and they allow us to really flex our creative liberties, that's when they're like, okay, we know you get your audience. How can we jump on that, and how can we insert ourselves into your content that you're already producing on the regular? It's just adding one extra thing into it.
And then how have you figured out like the contracts or monetizing it or charging for this to make a living?
It's really hard. A lot of the financial component to it is kind of taboo. People don't talk about it, and we're
going to talk about it right now, which is great.
I'm more than happy to talk about it. Like, I've luckily had some wonderful friends who've led me along the way and guided me as to how to charge my specific rates. And I've been always supportive of helping newcomers as well too to this, because it's very hard. Everybody started at nothing. You have to slowly grow up, and any help that you can get is better. I always tell people that it's not a competition amongst ourselves, because if we do that, then we're setting it up for the brands to take advantage of us. You want to help each other grow, and with that, the industry can continue to mature, progress, and lead it into a more like legitimized industry.
And you're all just getting a piece of the larger marketing budget anyways. So and you're more so in a sense competing with like Chatelaine or larger publications or billboards versus each other. And a rising tide rises all boats. So
completely, everybody's supporting each other. It's a win-win for everyone.
So content creators, influencers, we're going to dive in here. So how do you charge? What do you do? Do you use a calculator and you kind of?
So when I first started, I had a calculator which was, I think it was like every 500 followers.
That you have.
I would charge $50.
Okay, on your Instagram.
On my Instagram account.
And not Facebook, not any.
No, it's specifically for Instagram.
And this not your blog.
Not my blog. Those are every platform I think has like a different kind of metric.
Monetization.
Monetization metric.
So 500 followers, $50.
$50, and like every incremental 500, you can add like a $50 on.
So I have 2,000 followers on my Instagram. So that would be what? Like $200 a post.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
And then, do you charge per post? What if you go live now? Because what about the whole live thing? Or a story? What's a story?
Okay, so
there's three different.
Completely different things. So lives, I've done that on my own as well too. A live takes a lot more energy than you think if you're running it by yourself. If it's just you talking to the camera, answering questions, you have to continuously talk. You don't want that awkward silent lull. So it takes a lot of energy. And if you're on for a full hour, I've done it before. At the end, I'm like parched. I've drank 2 full bottles of water. I feel like I just worked out for 3 hours straight. Takes a lot out of you.
What kind of water are you drinking?
PayPal water, of course. So with lives, I've kind of broken it down to manageable chunks. Like every 15 minutes, I'm going to charge X amount. I haven't been approached by a lot of brands yet to really do lives. I don't think that's a really big mainstream thing just as of yet, because a lot of brands still like to have the control over the content. And when it's live, they can't script what you're going to say. They can't know beforehand exactly what kind of content are you going to cover. So I think that's still kind of like a scary topic to brands. So I haven't personally been approached for that yet, but I've kind of broken it down on my end that for per 15 minutes, like that's going to be what the metric of chunk of time is going to be. I haven't really allotted like a fee to it just quite yet, because I haven't really done that, so I have no experience to determine like what I want to charge. From what I've spoken to, a lot of my other friends haven't really been approached for lives either, so it's kind of uncharted territories. Still a lot of room to be made for progress there. For stories though, right now, when I first started charging, stories didn't exist quite just yet. It's like a new thing.
Yeah.
So I just like attach some random number to it. Okay. And usually how I go is that if a brand says yes to it, then okay, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
I can charge a little bit more next time until like I start to challenge the brands and they start to get like, okay, like this is getting a little testy. Like, do you have a lower budget here? Can we like fill around with this? But stories are a little bit easier because now you can save them, send them off the brands. It can give you feedback. And tell you
like, metrics on the stories?
There's metrics on the stories. You can attach. I have the swipe up function as well too, where you can like link out to a URL.
Yes.
You can tap and tag a brand's page to it, and they love that.
What did you call that function?
The swipe up function?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, the swipe up the linked out function. And that's great because if you're working with a brand to promote a specific product, you can like swipe it up and link straight to that product.
Perfect.
That's great.
And then do you get the metrics on how many people swiped up and give that to the brand?
You get all of that.
And do you provide them with like a report, like a PDF at the end of the transaction?
I do, just because I know that I've worked on the brand side as well too. Like there's always an ROI attached to everything. So you can't just be like, hey, we're gonna pay you like, I don't know, $500 to do 4 stories. And be like, hey, hopefully it worked. Because they don't see the views. They can see the likes and the comments, but they can't see a view in a story.
But
so
you can share them the views and
share it anyways. I know on my end, like I'm doing a service for myself. I look professional if I'm doing that. You always have to have some sort of wrap-up report anyways in a professional setting. So like when I do it for myself, set an example for other creators as well too.
Do you try to get like coupon codes or like a unique URL so you could track the link backs?
I love the unique URLs just for myself because it kind of shows me how my audience is interacting with my content, how many of them actually care to swipe up and link out to it. When it comes to coupon codes, I try not to overly inundate that on my account just because I know like so many other individuals are already probably collaborating with those brands. And it's difficult to track a specific coupon code versus a swipe up because a swipe up, it directly leads you out from there. Even though the sale may not be completely attributed back, someone's going to forget that code in 24 hours. They're going to Google somebody else's code. And even though the intent was because they saw yours, you don't get attributed that sale. So I find that that's not the best metric for me to report back to a brand as to how I performed. So I sway away from that unless it's for a high value product or service that people would actually benefit from. Otherwise, if it's like $15 t-shirt with 15% off, you're not really incentivized to buy that. You're like, it's just hacks, I can pay that.
But 50% off or 80% off.
50% off like a full hair service or like a full body wax, if that's what you want to go for, that's worth it to someone. So it depends on the relationship and the value of the product that I'm offering a coupon code for.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So maybe tell me, if you're comfortable with this, telling me a brand that you loved working with that just got working with a content creator.
Okay, so Dynamite, again, they are phenomenal. They've had my back. They let me really lead all of my content. They never really give me any sort of feedback beyond the terms of like what I had to use the hero product for in the photo. If I had to feature a specific jacket or pair of pants, they've been great with that. Messaging just gives me the keywords. I don't have to script anything out too much, so it's extremely easy to work with. And I always feel like I'm a partner in that relationship, not just somebody executing a contract. So they really respect my views, my experience in the industry as well too, and they really understand that what I'm trying to do is to help them, and at the same time they help me to give me the responsibility of creating a photo that's going to engage well with my followers.
Cool. What do you think about what's going on in the United States with the laws that are now in place where you have to say this is sponsored content, and I know it's not in Canada yet, but it's in the States right now with the FCC. And I know in Canada there's folks who do it for the purpose of just being friendly or nice or transparent. Like, mainstream publications are calling it sponsored content or partnership content or advertorial or this, article brought to you by. What are your thoughts on the kind of the ethical standards or just on the transparency standards of a content creator in Canada?
In Canada,
because we're different than them.
Very, very different, and we're very different from like the UK as well too. Their laws are even more stringent than the US, from what I've seen. I'm 100% on board with that. I think transparency and disclosure is the best way to build a good relationship with your followers, your readers, consumers. They never want to be lied to, and consumers are now smarter than ever, and they can sniff through anything. And to be very transparent, I don't know if this is okay, but this has been happening for years in the industry and traditional. People are paid to be in TV spots.
Michael Jordan.
Exactly.
Right,
Well, like even on-air experts, if they're talking about like my top 5 like specific preference products for this month, they're all being paid for it under the table. People just don't know that.
Or they're being given free products.
Exactly. Magazine editors are being sent on trips to like Miami, the Bahamas to learn about a new product launch, and in exchange they have to feature that product in their magazine. They've just never been liable to disclose that, so people don't realize that it's been happening, and like this has been going on for years and years. I think that now that influencers have the responsibility to disclose that. It's very eye-opening to consumer, and they're now starting to question everything, not just us. We just have the opportunity to highlight that this is a standard practice across the industry, and that being somebody who discloses, you're at the forefront of being honest. And I think that's completely okay and on board with it. I think there's like different levels of like how you disclose. If you're getting a product that you're not guaranteed that you have to post about it, and you like just love it on your own, then you disclose, like that's different than being paid to write like a positive review. That's very, very different. But I'm 100% on board with the disclosure.
Cool. Last night, a guy by the name of Mike Morrison has Mike's Bloggity Blog out of Calgary, and he bought himself a Google Pixel book, right? And he was just really excited about it because he fully transferred from the iPhone environment, Apple environment, over to the Google environment. So we got a Pixel, but as he's writing about it and Instagram storying about it and posting about it, every time he's like, Dory, this is not paid for by Google. I actually just bought it because I'm really excited about it. So do you see that on the flip side where people have to actually say, no, I actually paid for this?
Sometimes I've had that situation. So Halo Top is an ice cream brand that just launched in Canada. I think they're really prevalent in the US. It's like low cal, low sugar, everything, because people are going crazy for it. They sent me some product just to test out in celebration for it. I loved it. I raved it. I wasn't expecting my audience to love it as much as I thought they would. And my DMs on Instagram just filled up being like, which flavors did you like? Tell us about this, tell us about that. So I'm like, okay, this is a good opportunity for me to create content and get more people to come back and engage with me.
And you weren't paid?
I was not paid.
You were sent in the mail?
I was not asked
in ice packs, right?
Yeah, giant ice pack box.
Okay, good.
Don't worry, it was still good when it arrived. So yeah, I was like, you know what, this is a good opportunity for me to get a close relationship with my followers. Why not review each and every single pint as I'm eating it? People want to know anyways, start reviewing it. And then somebody asked me like, did you get sponsored to do this? I'm like, 100% no. If you know me, ice cream is like one of my favorite foods behind sushi. So I will talk about it whenever I can.
And the brand knew you. They picked the right content creator to send it to.
I don't explicitly say I love ice cream, but like I just love ice cream. And then people loved it. They're like, oh my God, I felt the same way. Like the birthday cake one tasted like the vanilla Dunkaroos, or like I wasn't too fond of like the oats one, of like the little oats bits inside of it, and people just really jumped on the bandwagon. It surprised me how engaged they were. So for that one, I had to say like, hey guys, not sponsored, just to clarify, if anybody thought I was being paid for this, I'm not. I just love ice cream and I want to share this with you guys.
But do you say it was given to you for free?
I do. So I do the standard like unboxing whenever I get PR packages every day. I'm like, hey guys, gonna show you like what I got today in the mail. People love to watch that. It's strange to me. I guess it's like unboxing on YouTube. And then from there, that's like my disclosure saying I didn't pay for this. I was gifted it. And then any opinions after that, like it's 100% my honest opinion. I'm not being paid for any of this stuff right now. And the brands know, because I don't always talk 100% positively about it. Like I chatted that I love the birthday cake flavor, I love the sea salt caramel, wasn't that fond of the oatmeal cookie. So they get a very toss-up opinion when it comes to me.
Which is great, because they, they that's the best type of, they know it's authentic and you're being, being true to yourself.
You're not gonna love 100% of everything that one brand provides, right?
So tell me when you're invited to an event. So a PR person reaches out, come to this event, do you start charging for event appearances at this point? Or how do you monetize that?
Okay, so event appearances are very tricky. I know in the US that's a very popular thing. It is taking time out of your day. But I would say that a lot of smaller influencers, creators, bloggers, YouTubers, whatever you are nowadays, they like to attend events as a networking method. It's a great way to meet the PR reps, to meet the brand reps and develop that relationship with them so you can chat opportunities afterwards.
To take it to the next level.
Exactly, because you never know those people, and then like an in-face relationship is so much better than something through phone or email. 100%. And then a lot of the bigger girls are like, okay, I know all these people, I don't need to go out to there. I can stay at home, they're gonna send me the product anyways, I'm gonna get it as a mailer, I don't have to go, that's a different story. And like it makes sense, you're busy creating campaigns, you don't have the accessibility of every single day, you're attending to like 100 events that go. But sometimes brands like really need to fill numbers to show their client that people are interested, they wanna come. So brands, sometimes in Canada, will reach out to them and be like, hey, if I pay you X amount, will you attend?
And maybe do X amount of snaps or this many stories. And,
exactly. If I'm there...
Then you start charging.
Then I start charging. If I am physically required to do work while I'm there, then I charge. Otherwise, if I'm attending out of like my own consideration, it's like accepting a PR package. I want to share it, then I can share it. I'm not going to charge for it.
Do you ever not accept it and ship it back, or just...
I've never shipped it back, but I've actually emailed a brand before to let them know like, hey, this is not a good fit for me. I think that this would probably be better suited for for somebody else who can actually use the product, just because I feel bad. I've worked on the peer side. I don't want to ship a product to somebody who's never going to use it.
Do they ask for it back, or do they
No,
pick it up?
they're more than okay with it.
They're just like, just take it to Value Village, or
yeah. I mean, it's probably going to cost them more to cover the cost of shipping it back to them anyway. So like, just keep it, and then cool, we'll take you off of that list and then send it to somebody else.
What's the best way you like to hear from a brand? Is it in your DMs, tweets? Is it an email? Is it a letter?
Letters are cute. I recently got engaged. A couple of brands sent me letters and notes and gifts. I'm like, I love that. I thought that was so sweet, very personable. But otherwise, I prefer an email. I think it's phenomenal because I can go back and see what did they talk about, what points do I need to hit on. I'm not the biggest fan of phone calls unless it's like a setup phone call. Surprise phone calls catch me off guard because I could be at a meeting at any time of the day or like in the zone on the flow doing work. But yeah, emails are my favorite. DMs for me, like, kind of okay as an introduction, but I don't want to have a full conversation on my phone. It gets tricky texting for like 2 hours straight on a DM, and I would like to have everything on my computer because a lot of DMs also end up being like, okay, can you pick out this product, or like let me know about this collection. Like, I can't do 50 tabs on my phone when it's easier for me to do on my desktop.
And have you considered getting like an agent or a representative to represent you, or do you do it all yourself?
I used to do it myself. I do currently have a manager.
Okay.
I used to work a full-time job and blogging as well too, and I found it really hard to be able to find the time to reply back to all the emails during the day. And this industry is quick. If you're not responding back within a couple hours, they've moved on to the next person if there's an opportunity open for you. So that's the primary reason why I got a manager was to have somebody be able to get back to all my emails and help me negotiate. But yeah, so I still have a manager now. I don't work a full-time job anymore. Blogging is my full-time job. And I found that it's still great to have them there because they really help me to negotiate terms and contracts for me anyways. And then now I can focus and dedicate 100% of my time to creating content, which is what I love to do. At the core of it, that's what I've truly always wanted to do.
And do you mind sharing who your manager is?
Yeah, so I work closely with Dulcedo. They are a talent, I think they're a modeling agency based out of Montreal. But they also recently, within the past couple of years, branched out and started managing talent as well too.
Awesome. And they're okay with you taking free stuff, doing free jobs, but also they'll manage the paid jobs for you.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of the relationships that I've developed have been out of just taking free product.
Barters almost.
Exactly. It was like exchange of services. That's what they usually call it. Seeing if I love the product. If I love it, I can share it. And they're like, okay, we like the content. You love the brand. Let's work together on another level.
Awesome. Books that you recommend, or magazines, or blogs to follow?
Okay, so I really like to follow Adweek.
Adweek, yeah, no, great.
Just because it keeps me up to date in the industry. Like, I love to chat fashion, beauty, travel all the time with my friends. So like, honestly, I need to be intellectually stimulated. Other things, so, like, I want to keep up to date in the industry to see like, how is it moving forward? How do I have to adapt with it? So I love reading Adweek articles.
Adweek's your jam.
Adweek's my jam. Books, I haven't started reading it, but I really want to get into The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I've heard a lot about it, and I think it's phenomenal. So I'm trying to get my hands on it. Magazines, I don't really read a lot of magazines, but I love listening to NPR's How I Built This, How I Made This by Guy Raz. Love it. It's amazing, extremely inspirational, just to like learn all about one individual and what got them from start to finish, because some of them were like rags to riches stories, and some of them were just like, I studied and got my way into there. It was like a fluke. So it's just inspirational for me.
That's your podcast jam.
Yeah, that's my podcast jam.
Yeah, sweet. And Marketing Jam, you're going to be on it soon enough, so you can listen to other
I can listen to that afterwards.
Canadian types.
Yep,
that's
very
awesome.
interesting.
Anything else you want to leave with people? Any last words of wisdom or advice? Or
yeah, I would say that for content creators, know your worth. That's so important to me. I think we work in an industry where a lot of creatives are undervalued, and we always get given this like, let's collaborate in exchange for exposure. And to me, it's like you're taking time out of your day to do something that somebody saw a worth in it. They're taking advantage of you. If you need that exposure, and if it's worthwhile to you, then take it. But like, if you don't need it, just know your time and how much it's worth. If you could be at work during that time and making money, why not charge somebody back? And then for brands that are just starting out into the influencer industry as well too, I'd say really listen to the influencers. They've been doing this organically for like 5-10 years now already, and they know their audience truly. Working in traditional format versus online social media is very, very different how you communicate with the audience, and they know exactly what you have to target and hit it. So if they're giving you feedback as to why campaign may not execute its fullest, I say listen to them. And then work together in a relationship. Don't just try to take control over the situation.
A couple years ago, I heard from a Torontan named Corey Vidal, who's a YouTuber, and his philosophy, which you guys are on the same page, is, hey, if you look at influencer, maybe forget about their following, because it could be fake, and you can't guarantee how many people are going to see it, right? Because the new algorithms, especially with Instagram and Facebook. And you don't know about their blog, you aren't given their analytics access. So his thoughts were, okay, look at them like a videographer and a photographer and a writer, and pay them what you'd pay them, and consider their followership gravy and bonus.
It's
so
a
at the very least, pay them to be a photographer at your event or a photographer of your product.
100%.
Which I think is a really healthy way to look at it. Because then if you get 30,000 views on your product because of their channel, great. But you also got incredible content that you can regram or repost or repurpose.
A lot of the brands I've seen actually use creators' content back on their websites as promotional marketing material as well too. And you can license that stuff. You're working with somebody who's going to give you beautiful content. Like you said, it's a bonus that they have a following that you're getting exposed to as well. So it's a win-win.
And look at Apple's new campaign for the iPhone 10 is all about people who just did portraits on the new 10, which I think is brilliant because it tells the story that look how great our 10 is. So are you on a 10 right now?
No.
Are you lusting after the 10?
I don't know. Like, I feel like after I heard that it was being discontinued, I was like,
It's being discontinued.
That's what somebody told me, because sales weren't doing well in China, so like we're going to discontinue it. I think China's supposed to be their metric for whether or not a phone is performing.
Wow.
So my phone just died last week. And I just paid off my credit card the day before that. So I had to go and buy a new phone. I got the 8 Plus. Because I've always had like this. I've had like the 6S for the longest time. So I upgraded for that one just so that I could continue to do work. It's like a business expense for me.
Of course.
But yeah, I'm hesitant to jump on the 10. But we'll see. Maybe they'll like revamp it down the road.
And speaking of your blog, would you call it a blog? Or,
It's a blog.
So what are you lusting after right now?
What am I lusting after? Travel. I just want to travel a lot more. Now that I've kind of like left my full-time job, not that I like, it was my crux holding me back. I loved it. It's just opened up my timeline to be more flexible. I can work around myself, so I can work remotely. That's the best thing about influencer marketing. I can work wherever as long as I have a good internet connection.
And come to Whistler maybe?
Maybe. I'm not the biggest snow fan. I grew up in Ottawa, so like being dumped with 2 meters of snow every winter, I'm like, I'm going to leave that whenever I can.
Awesome.
But
and other influencers that you love and follow?
My best friend actually is a phenomenal content creator, Mel. Her Instagram is Mel Huang, if you want to check her out. She's great. She's so inspiring. She's very educated in the industry as well too. She has like a very diverse background in terms of like, I think, digital media and media buys. Some other influencers like I truly love as well. I like Chriselle Lim. And she's a Wonder Woman, and I think today's like International Women's Day.
It is.
Highly recognize her as one of my like go-tos. She's a mom. She runs her own business. She's a blogger as well too, and a phenomenal creator. And then also Ami Song, who is also another blogger as well too. She speaks very forward about all of her opinions. She's not afraid to like share her views on life. And she also is a strong supporter of other women as well too. So I really admire her and look up to her.
That's awesome.
And she's like a style icon to me.
And for the sake of full disclosure, PayPal did not pay for this. They just gave me this water bottle before I came on.
Stay hydrated.
These shoes are from Aldo. I bought them. These socks are from Stance. I bought them online. These pants are from H&M. Bought them in the store.
Perfect.
Shirts from Indochino because I'm a small statured man, and they got it custom made. I paid for it. Cufflinks are from Cuff Daddy. I bought them on Amazon. So just for the sake of full disclosure, I'm just trying to practice. But
thanks. I mean, I can't say that everything I purchased just because I get stuff all the time, but majority of what I'm wearing today I've actually purchased on my own. So.
Because we do that.
I still buy stuff. It's actually liberating to buy stuff sometimes because I know I'm not tied to post about it.
There's no pressure.
Exactly, and it's like I can live normally.
Or if you go on a vacation that you pay for, you're not obligated to be.
Honestly, I love collaborating with hotels, but sometimes it's so freeing to just book my own Airbnb because I don't have to spend 3 hours every morning shooting for it. I can just wake up and go and do my own thing. But I like the balance of the two.
Awesome. So any young up-and-coming folks who are like, I want to be an influencer one day, what should they be doing right now?
I actually just published a blog post on my blog, subtle plug in there, about the do's and don'ts of how to grow your Instagram following, which applies a lot to your blog as well too for creators.
And what's your website for those of the viewers?
Listt.com. So TheLustLists.com. So my article basically covered like the ethical components of it, in terms of like, don't buy your followers, don't buy your likes, don't buy your comments, don't use bots, don't engage in loop giveaways. All that is just like a desperate cry for I want to make a quick buck overnight. Any of the successful content creators, they've been honing their art for at least 3+ years. The analogy I give everybody is that if you want a really solid job as like a lawyer, a doctor, an accountant, you go to university for at least a minimum of 4 years. Think of 4 years on Instagram or on the internet as your training, so that after that you can start charging, and like you don't become a doctor overnight. By like throwing money at somebody. You don't buy your way to the top.
And on a math question, so if I see someone's followers and then I look at their post and I see like maybe they got 20,000 followers, but they only have like 20 likes on a picture, why is sometimes the math so off?
Okay, so there's like a standard accepted engagement rate, which is around like 2% is like average standard. A really good engagement rate is 4%.
And that's comments and likes, or?
It kind of depends. Like, you're not going to get like 4,000 comments on a photo unless you're somebody with like over 2 million followers or 4 million followers. It's usually like likes because it's the easiest number just to add up right away instead of you counting all the different comments in relation to their follower count. If it's extremely skewed and they have a lot more followers, then it probably means that they want their followers to be very transparent. If you're seeing that the engagement ratio is extremely high and they have like way high likes and way high comments, means they probably bought their likes.
So 2 to 4% is healthy.
2 to 4% is like a standard average as like what a normal organic engagement rate should look like, although it fluctuates now, right? Like there's different causes that affect it all the time. Sometimes people are participating in giveaways that like kind of have an influx, they got featured in an account, but I think a couple expose articles even came out that if you're being featured on like a major aggregate account, you're not getting more than a couple hundred a day. You're not jumping like 14,000, 20,000 followers overnight. Like that just doesn't happen anymore with this algorithm.
How many followers do you have?
I currently have 84.5 as of this morning. 84.5 thousand.
Do you track when people unfollow you and follow you? Do you have one of those little apps?
I don't track that just because I don't see the point in tracking who follows and follows me. I've had people that I've unfollowed come out to be like, hey, unfollow me. Why? I'm like, it's not personal, it's business. I love your stuff. You've changed your style over time. I'm just not into it anymore. And like, I want to be inspired by what I see on my news feed. And I've unfollowed a lot of my personal friends on Instagram purely because I tell them it's not like a Facebook for me. I'm not there to build like a friendship with you. It's purely there for business. So that's.
And are you part of a direct message group with a bunch of other influencers and you share when you post something?
I don't do that.
Okay, that's a thing though, right?
Yeah, so those are called comment pods. I'm not a fan of those. I think those are not good for anybody's engagement, to be honest. It's definitely a way to game the system. It was, although now I'm hearing that it's not anymore with how they're changing the API access and everything. When you're inflating your engagement with the same eyes over and over again, and when I worked on the brand side, I had brands come to me like, hey, we've seen like the same 10 girls comment on our photos for 4 weeks straight. Same people. Why is that? I went to tell them it's a comment pod, and they come back saying like, well, those are not real consumers looking at our ad that we're working with her. Why are we paying her? It's the same people. They're all bloggers.
People are getting smarter.
They're getting smarter, and like they're saying that these bloggers are just going to ask us for free product anyways. We get no ROI on that. So in my head, I'm like, you're not benefiting yourself. You're creating an inflated and false sense of engagement, hoping that the brands will jump on it because they know that brands want engagement rates now. But the brands are getting smart. They're saying that like, this is not the eyeballs we're looking for. It's like fake traffic. That's exactly what you're paying for.
It's amazing. Well, this was great. We're here at DX3 Marketing Jam. So happy that you joined us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Both Facebook page live this, we Instagram live this. Day 2 of DX3, so a little experiment here. So thank you so much for sharing so much wisdom, so much advice, and I think a lot of people are going to learn a lot from what you shared today. So
thank you so much for having me. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you.